Welcome to another evening with Impact. We are happy you have joined us. And as you know, we talk about life, how it has impacted us, and how we impact others. And today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Denese Henry. And I'm just going to say welcome, Denese, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Uncle Craig.
It's good to have you, Denise. Always laughing, always smiling. So, people out there, Denise, hearing about Denise and want to know who is Denise? Who is Denise?
Well, that's a good question. Who is Denise? Well, I'm Denise, I am a mother. I am a Jamaican. I was an educator and now I've kind of ventured into something else, which is a brand manager for companies. And yeah, I'm a good friend, I'm a daughter, and I am a sister. And I'm a
Ah,
child of God, of course.
that's a lot of hats you're wearing. You said you were once an educator.
hmm
Can you be once an educator, never an educator, or you always an educator?
Well, this is the thing. So you never really stop working and doing that, yeah. But professionally, I don't get paid anymore.
The best educators I don't think get paid anymore. They just, well, they get paid, but not in dollars or pounds.
hmm
They get paid in love and appreciation and seeing the difference you make in the life of people, whether it's
hmm
adult or children. So I'm sure you're still doing that.
I
So
believe so.
yeah, you talk about so many things, and where are we gonna start? I want to know, where I want to go back to you, Denise, as a child, because
Mm,
that's where it's all started, isn't it?
yeah.
So we're going to look at Denise as a child growing up, then Denise as a teen, and then Denise as an adult, and Denise as a mother and educator, and all the other things that you have mentioned.
hmm
So where do we start?
So my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was born in Jamaica, in Kingston. Yay! I don't remember too much about that. Um, and I came to England when I was 8. So I remember mostly my childhood in England. The transition from Jamaica to the UK was a bit much back in the day. I mean, that was in what, 2000. So times were different then. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. I'm taking that back because times are kind of the same. It's
Yeah.
the same script, different cast, is what I like to say.
So
Yeah.
it's not the Windrush generation.
No.
Right, just to get that clear. We're not talking about the Windrush generation here.
No, but I mean, in terms of like the culture and things that happen, what people experience when it comes to the color of your skin or the way you speak or your personality and all these things, they're still the same.
Mhm.
I mean, UK is quite open, but there's still that hidden layer that you can still experience today.
So it sounds as if that you had that has impacted you, the change, a shift from coming from Jamaica to England. There
Mm.
was something that impacted you. You immediately felt a change in from what you're used to.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was used to freedom, like being a child, being able to play outside. And I had so many family members, like cousins, aunties, constantly. But when we came to England, it was pretty much just us, just all the time. And then, so there wasn't much family around. And then, so socially, things, it was a bit of a shock factor. Making friends in school. I had my accent was thick. It was very thick back then. Yeah,
What
so
what
I
did
was.
it so what did it sound like?
What do you mean? Why it's so like? Yeah, but I quickly actually adapted to the British, and I'm so good at it now. Like, yeah, I adapted really quickly just to try and fit in, really.
So with what your experience of coming from freedom where you could run around and having that family structure to being that caused you to adjust to life here quicker than you thought you would.
Definitely. Yeah.
Now you had to fit in. Why did you feel you had to fit in?
Just to make friends, because it was kind of like when you're at school, you get one or two that would make certain comments and kind of single you out to make you very aware that you are different. And for me, even though I could see the difference, I didn't really think of myself as being different. It was more of them pointing it out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I find a lot of the time. I don't know. I feel like with Black people, should I say, I don't really think that we're focusing so much on skin color. Like, I feel like we just kind of just go about our business, do our thing, but I feel it's the other races that kind of make it like, your skin's different, right? Kind of thing. It's like, is it really?
Because I'm just wondering how, when you're growing up as a child, you would be watching those shows, and you would really see not many people of your culture in those shows, and then so it become a norm. You see these people all the time. You see people of different color, class. In Jamaica, I guess the tourism industry was big, so you'll always see them on the beach and so forth. So it was nothing new to you, but coming into this country, then it shocked you.
Yeah, it did shock me. And the treatment shocked me, not being with them or being around them or anything like that. It was just the treatment. And they're pointing out that I was so different. My hair was different, my skin, my way I talked, the way that I played, because I was like, there's a tree, I want to climb it. And for them, it was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yes, it was a huge difference.
Now, looking back at that now, do you think it was the best thing for you to, adjust your way, or do you think it have to be that way? And do you think people are still falling into that situation now?
Um, okay. I think it had to, just because of when it happened. I was so young. Now I wouldn't, because now I embrace being Black, Jamaican, eat all of the above. But I think for then, just to make life a little easier, I think I had to. But Denise now would not be conforming in any way, shape, or form.
Do you think then, if what would have helped you in a situation like that? What would have made a difference, if you had a support or something that to help you along that path? Do you think there's anything that could have helped?
Um, no, I don't think there's anything that could have really helped, because I had teachers that were really great, who honestly really great, who made me feel like myself and I was okay to be myself. And they corrected situations in the classroom. So I really had that and I appreciated that. What would have been great is obviously if we didn't have that to begin with, but we'll never have a world without that. So yeah, there's nothing that I could say.
It's interesting you talk about the teachers that, supported you. Any of them stood out, had a great impact on you?
Yeah, there was one in particular, Miss O'Shea. I'll never forget her name. She was like, honestly, she was my English teacher. And when I came to England and I came to her class, she kind of changed the curriculum a bit. Like, so with certain poems, she would find Jamaican poets.
Mm.
Yeah, just to be like, and she'd be like, come and read it for us and read it the way that it's written. And like, yeah, so that kind of made me feel like special.
So it's having that teacher, that adult who saw your struggles, but embraced it in front of others,
Right.
and
Yeah,
that helped.
it did.
Do you find that as you shift change into becoming a teacher yourself, did you have to do the same for others?
Yes, I did all the time. It was actually kind of my signature. I always wanted to find who in my class needed the extra, like love, extra attention, and just show them.
And is it, do you think teachers are generally good at that, or do you find?
I think it depends. I think it depends why you became a teacher in the first place.
Mhm.
I find a lot of teachers, it is literally just the career, and it's like, okay, it's my 9 to 5 kind of thing. But if you're really passionate about it, you will go that extra mile. And obviously, they kind of teach you that as a teacher, you're not supposed to get too close to your students and get too familiar. But I don't 100% agree, you
Mhm.
know? So I think if you're passionate about it, you'll approach it differently.
Do you think your experience as a child and coming to this country and what you had to deal with and how you were supported have helped you to become that sort of educator in the classroom?
Yeah, 100%. I think so because I relate to the students that need my attention more. So, yeah.
So if you have teachers who don't have the experience, then it would be harder for them to deal with situations and be emotionally intelligent to see the needs of children far beyond the educational aspect.
I mean, it's a possibility, yes, but you don't have to pull from childhood traumas or experiences.
Mm.
There's just genuine care. You see someone in need, you just kind of try to fit that need.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. It's not about, the trauma. It's about the human being in us, isn't it?
Mhm.
And the caring. Okay, so you have passed through primary school, and Miss O'Shea
Mhm.
have helped you, and you're now into the bigger world of secondary school, a teen, and you have gotten into the culture, and you're by now your language have changed, and you're speaking English, and you feel more at home.
Mm.
Who was that teenager?
Who was that teenager? Boy. To be, to be honest, as settled in as I was, looking back, I'm like, I wasn't that settled. So you kind of shift. So there's like, I don't know what happens when you come to England, right? So in primary school, it was the Caucasians, right? That was that battle. And then when you get to secondary school, for me, I was around a lot more blacks. But those blacks kind of had their own little segregation going on. You had the Africans over here, you had the Vincentians over there, and the Jamaicans was just me. So it was like, okay, but we're all black. Why can't we all be together? So I kind of experienced that segregation within our community.
what what do you think causes segregation?
Do you know what? I'm not 100% sure what caused it. I think that it's the hierarchy of blackness, as in, okay, according to the Caucasians, they might not say it outright, but I do feel like, so back in the day where it's like if you had lighter skin, you were more accepted.
Yeah.
So it's how they behave. So the Africans, they were more wild, so they were at the bottom, right? And then you have the Jamaicans because we're wild too, and then the Vincies are a bit more tame, so they were more accepted. So I think that's how it was. So everybody wants to be accepted. So I can't be with you because you're seen as the bottom, so we can't be friends like that. That's kind of what I think was happening.
Do you think that have changed now?
I actually do. I think there has been a change in my experience over the years, especially I'd say within the last 10 years. I think there's definitely been a shift. More community, less segregation within the blacks, no matter where you're from. I definitely think there's a shift.
So it seems to me society, through your transition from Jamaica to England and through your primary to secondary school time, society played a big part in you becoming who you are.
Yeah.
Looking back at that, what is the major impact it has had on you?
So the major impact is I am just gonna be me. So, when you try to be something else, and you're like, okay, that doesn't work. Try to be something else, that doesn't work. So I'm just gonna be me, and whether that works for you or not, it doesn't matter to me, kind of thing.
And this is, I think, children will still struggle with that, trying to find their identity and have that self-esteem develop. Um, any idea of, what, looking back in your younger years, your childhood, your family setup, how that impacted on the struggle you finding your identity?
So not within my family in a sense, because my parents were always just very supportive with everything. If there was like anybody at school, they'd be up at that school like they're in my corner. If it was a teacher they needed to speak to, they were always behind me. And I think because of the kid that I was, they were confident in being in my corner. Like I wasn't gonna lie to you, I wasn't gonna anything. So they were always there and they allowed me to just be me. So if I wanted to go build something with cushions or whatever, they'd just be like, go for it. So not at home. At home, I was always me, but it was out and about. Like when we left the house, yeah, it was like, okay, this is like I'm leaving my safe zone kind of thing.
So once you're out of your safe zone, you sort of lost your identity.
Yeah, I think I did for a while, definitely. I mean, I kind of knew it was there. It's not like I didn't know where it was. It was just like
Trying to fit in.
yeah, trying to fit in, but trying to fit in became trying to find people that were like me. Yeah, so it wasn't trying to fit in anymore. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't need, if I'm needing to fit in, then I don't really belong where you are.
Yeah.
So it was more of the search to find my people.
And in finding that you had to do some changes and then realize, going full circle, you come back and think, no, this is me, accept me for who I am, and that's it.
100%, yeah.
Now, you talk about your parents. Which of your parents are you most like?
My dad.
Your dad. Why?
Just his personality, like just really easygoing, like always there for loved ones, just chilled and just the life of the party. Like I'm my dad. And I look most like him too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself wanting to now doing things like him, and then do you see that coming out in your child too?
So no, I don't see anything coming out with my son. But yeah, that certain things I do like him. Like I miss Fix It. Yeah. So I mean, when I was younger, before my brother came, it was literally me and my dad did everything. If there was something to fix in the house, I'm right there. So like now, I'm pretty handy.
So did you know you were learning these skills for life, or was it just that because your dad was there supporting you and calling you to do things and you were able to just be able to do everything for no?
Yeah, I didn't know I was learning any skill. I just thought I was spending time with dad. So if dad's doing this, I'm there. And he'll call me sometimes to just be like, come see how this goes. And yeah, I don't know.
So it's funny how we hear that, because if some parents or some dads would not want their daughter to be doing these things, not to fix things, but you should be in the house cooking with mom or cleaning the house. That wasn't you, was it?
No, so I mean I did those things too, but it was a lot of time doing other things, yeah, with my dad. So I can wallpaper, I can paint, I can laminate some floors, I can change a fuse, like
Wow, you have skills. I can need to
yeah,
call you when I'm ready.
yeah.
So what would you say to parents who treat boys differently from girls in the home and think girls should only do this, boys should only do this? Does it make a difference to who you become? And what
Yeah,
difference is that?
I think that yes, we have our places in life and stuff like that. According to gender, I do agree, but I don't think it should be limited. Because if it was limited, then I would just know how to cook and clean and stuff like that. But I know how to do other things. And I think it's beneficial because my dad, I think, well, I spoke to him later on in life and I asked why he would always call me. And I just used to think it's because he didn't have a son at the time. But he just said that he wanted to make sure that I was equipped to take care of myself. So obviously, we're taught that we're supposed to do all that other stuff, the housework, because we are going to get married one day. But in his mind, okay, yeah, but marriages end and things like that. You need to know how to stand on your own and do things. And especially instead of calling someone to come and fix something, it's good to learn how to fix it yourself. So that was kind of his thought process. And I think it's important. And guys should also learn how to cook and clean and iron and all that stuff as well. It's handy.
It's not only handy, but it's also attractive, isn't it?
It is, exactly. It's very attractive. So, yeah.
Now, do you think that there could be any negative in that where you become so independent, you don't need anybody? So if you're not doing it, I can't deal with you, that sort of thing. Do you think there's that negative impact of that for some people who do not know how to handle knowing how to do everything, but can be the lady too?
So I think teaching the child these skills is not negative. It's the personality and the attitude of who's receiving these skills. So if you have that kind of personality and that mentality, yeah, of course you're gonna abuse it. But being armed, so to speak, with these skills, I don't think it causes negativity.
So it's knowing how to use it. And is that something you learn, you think, or is it something just, who you are, you're born like that?
So this question is a tricky one because some people are just born like that. And then some people you find life experiences kind of merge them into a whole different person, So sometimes, like for me, let's say I'm real bubbly and everything, and I'm real good with the masculine activities,
Yes.
right? But if, per se, I had like such a hard life with men, maybe one day I might get up and be like, well, I can do everything anyways. And then my experiences kind of change my personality. Not for me, but yeah.
But is that, I see where you're going with that, but I'm just thinking, do you really born with that attitude, or is that something that is probably, genetics or inherited from your parents? Because you are born as, a young child, not knowing wrong and right, not knowing left and right. Just grow up, and is probably what you see, as you said, when you were with your dad. You didn't know you were learning these skills. You were just doing it. You didn't see it as something you need in life, but then life happened and you got to use them.
Right. I do think that we're born as we do. I think we're born with a personality somewhat, but I do think that life experiences, what we're exposed to, kind of eventually form who we are, our overall personality.
Okay. So that taught you a lot of that housework and DIY and all those skills. What did mom teach you?
So my mom taught me how to cook and clean, iron my clothes. She taught me how to be a good hostess. She taught me how to sew. Yeah, mom taught me a lot too, actually. She taught me to be confident. When I was younger, I was really, really brave. And when I came to England, that left. It left.
Why? Why?
Just what we talked about before in primary school and stuff. I got really shy. I know you wouldn't know that now.
But why would that change if you were taught? What is there a time when you can something you're taught as a young age from your parents, then all of a sudden just change like that? What is it that had made that change, and what can we do to make sure with society or circumstances we don't, or children don't change who they are to fit in or do that? Is there anything we can do about that?
I think it's just positive reinforcements, just constantly giving them positive feedback, about not just what they look like. Obviously, they need to know that what they look like is perfect. That's how God made them.
Mm-hmm.
But their personality and their skills and stuff, we need to just continually tell them how good they are.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents did that with me. But when I was at school, when I first came here, yeah, I definitely got shy because it was like every time I opened my mouth, it was a comment. I definitely, so it took time for me to get over that. Yeah. And then obviously, like I was saying before, so it was the Caucasians and then it was the blacks. So the blacks obviously was at secondary school and then at church. So yeah, at church too. So I kind of was having it from every angle. So I definitely went into a shell for a while.
What church is supposed to be the place where you have love and everything. So how could church be a place that you find that segregation?
Well, see, the thing is, church is built with humans, and we're all humans. So at the end of the day, there's no perfect person in church. So these things are still going to be in churches. They're everywhere, right? So we definitely had the segregation, not so much with culture as such, because our church was mainly all blacks anyways, but just children. It was just kids being kids. So unfortunately, yeah, there was that. You can't really get away from it a lot of the time.
Just listening to you and realizing the conversations that you have, a lot of the things that you have experienced is based around the environment and society, and that culture clash or the difference in culture. So you had a lot of challenges in that to either, well, it changed you a bit, but then for you to find yourself. Now, did it give you the opportunity then to say, I want to make a difference, so I'm going to go in the classroom and make a difference? And did it help you to steer you in the path of becoming an educator, teacher?
I think it did. Because I did, like I said, Miss O'Shea was fantastic with seeing me and seeing my needs and trying to meet those. And I think I needed that. I needed more educators, whether Sabbath school teachers or whoever, to do the same. So I know for me, I kind of wanted to be that for others. So I definitely did.
So you came into it and decided that you're going to make a change and be that one Miss O'Shea that can make a difference to another child. Do you think you have done, you're able to do that?
I think so. I believe so. I mean, I've had students that have told me that I made a difference. I had students that were so devastated when I was leaving, just because they were wondering, okay, so who's going to help me now, kind of thing. So I definitely feel so.
So why did you leave?
So I wanted to be at home with my son, because my son is also homeschooled now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be at home with him, being able to raise him and focus solely on him. I work from home. So yeah, that was literally, he was just the choice, the factor.
If you had an opportunity to do homeschooling when you came here, do you think you would have preferred that, or would you still want to experience what you had back then?
Oh, that's a good question. Would I do homeschooling? No, only because my parents should not be teaching anybody academics just because they have no patience for that. But I mean, if they were like me, I guess.
But they taught
Then yes.
that taught you a lot, so I'm sure homeschooling doesn't mean the academics only.
Well, that's true. Yes, that is true. But the academic side, no.
Mm. So you're doing homeschooling with your son. Do you think you're trying to inadvertently shield him from what you experience?
Um, hmm. Let's think about that one. So a little bit, yeah. If I'm 100% transparent, yeah, a little bit of it. Um, he did start school. He went to reception, and then obviously COVID happened. Um, yeah, a little bit, but I feel like the school system now isn't, like I said, if you don't have, he actually had a good teacher,
Mm-hmm.
a really good teacher. He had a Miss O'Shea, and her
Yeah.
name, yeah. So she was brilliant with him. Um, but I just feel like it wasn't enough, and I felt I could do better.
For those people out there who are considering homeschooling, what are the benefits of that?
So the benefits of homeschooling is for the parent as well as the child. So for the children, they can learn from the comfort of their own homes. They have free flow. I feel like at school, especially at this age, you're required to sit down for hours and limited play. And I feel like the children, they can do both. They can have the same amount of play and sitting down, or they can have more and still be successful, still get everything that they need, because they still need play. When you're in the classroom, the children are getting up and then you're having to tell them to sit down, and like, because they need it. Their bodies are telling them it's time to move, it's time to do something else, and we're constantly restricting them. So at home, they get that time and that flexibility.
So I know there in the classroom you have like 30 or more children, and it's about having all the different needs and trying to cater for all those needs at once. Where if you're at home, you can deal with what just one child or two
Yeah.
children if you have that, and
Mhm.
learning in a fun way.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do your lessons, tailor it specifically for your child according to how your child learns. Because, like you said, everybody in the classroom, 30 children, they don't all learn the same way. And you can only do one teaching style in a classroom.
How do they I guess somebody will ask, how do they integrate into society when you have to then do everything in with people around, going to places and so forth? How do you integrate that? And how does that link with also church? You do homes church rather than going church in a congregation?
So for us and for most homeschoolers, we have homeschool groups. So you can find them online, somewhat groups that are close to your area, and they meet up every week, some two, three times a week, some just once a week, and that's how they get their social as well. So we have our group that we meet up every Friday. That will be literally from like morning till night. They are there. It's like and it's 20, like 20, 30 kids sometimes. They get to play, socialize, so they're still getting all of that as well.
And the benefits you have seen since you have started homeschooling, what are those benefits
So the
for your
benefits
child?
I've seen, um, for my son, he's on a schedule, but it's a very flexible one. So he is less grumpy and he's not stressing to get up in the morning. Like he gets up when he gets up and he's happy. He takes his time, but he knows he gets his breakfast. We're not rushing. Like I'm not like, hurry up, eat, we gotta go, like gotta get in the car. There's none of that. So he's just chilled.
And somebody out there will say, well, life is not that you have to go to work, you have to do this, everything is on time and schedule. You have to catch a plane, you have to catch the train, the bus, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Life is always going to be like that. So how are we training children at home to be the opposite? What would
Right.
you say to them?
So I wouldn't say that we're training them to be the opposite. So he is fully aware of time. And we even do tests once a week where he's timed to do the test.
Mm.
And we do have a timetable that has the time on it. So like maths, English, all that stuff that has like a time slot. But when I say flexibility, if he feels like he doesn't want to do maths today, he's feeling more sciencey, then we're going to do science this morning. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Kind of thing, yeah. And if he feels like he doesn't want to do any work today because he's so ants or whatever, and he just wants to go outside and play for the day, then he can do that too. And we'll do work tomorrow.
Yeah, I always say that, I listened to a TED talk by Sir Ken Robinson, and he talks about, that freedom that children need. And I always said, you don't go home or at home, you say, okay, now I'm going to have to do some maths in life and some English in life and some science in life. You come home, you want to cook, you have to measure. That's a
Right.
part of maths. You have to read the instructions, know what you're cooking. So life is not segmented in subjects.
Mm-hmm.
It's all encompassing and together.
Yeah.
Right. So now that you have gone from a child from the Jamaican, not on the Windrush train, but you're now in, an adult having your own son, and you're working from home doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the greatest impact or greatest thing that have impacted you up to now. It could be something that happened in society, in your life, or you have seen happening to others. What is that? That stands out in your mind.
What stands out in my mind? You hit me with a big one there. I don't know. I think the biggest impact in my life is obviously becoming a mother, but in shaping who I am, is that what you mean, in shaping me?
Yeah, well, in both. So that becoming a mother is, of course, a big thing and must have impacted you a lot, changed you, I'm sure, in some way. So you can tell me about that, how that have changed you, but the biggest thing that impacted you apart from being a mother also.
I don't know. What's the biggest thing that's impacted me? I don't know. I can't think like the biggest thing because there's so many things. I don't think you could just point out one thing. There's like so many things over the years, experiences that I feel like have, tweaked here, there, and wherever to just form who I am now. I don't really think I have any more forming to do. I think I have arrived, but there's definitely there's just too many things.
What impact do you think you're going to be having on your child when, if I should have this conversation with your child, 10, 15 years from now and ask, what did your parents teach you? What do you think he would say?
What would he say? I think he would just say, Mommy maybe taught me freedom. Just, because I'm always saying to him, it's okay to just do you. If that's what you feel like doing, then go for it. I do get judged a lot by mums like that aren't homeschool mums, like they don't get it when he's doing certain things or he's being creative, or I see it as him being creative and everything like that. I'm like, okay, cool, go for it. And like I'm like, I have a lot of vanish at home. I have a lot of stain remover, so I'm not stressing, So I think that's probably what he would say. He was allowed to just be free.
And do you find that when you go other places with him where, people are not used to this freedom, how does he handle that? And how does he behave? Does he continue to be free or does he restrict himself?
No, he doesn't restrict himself. He's not like me like that when I was younger, and I would restrict. He hasn't got that, and I'm really happy about that. He just continues. He continues, and he sometimes comes and asks me. He's like, "Why are they looking at me, or why are they saying whatever?" And he just continues. He'll ask me, and I'll answer, and then he's like, "Okay, cool," and he just carries on.
So you have a lot of explaining to do each time.
Yeah, sometimes then we do have a lot of explaining, but it doesn't affect him negatively. He just continues.
So, okay, we're almost here. If you're tuning in, we're with Denese Henry, and she's telling us about life from Jamaica to London to England, and the experience and how that has changed her, how that has impacted her, and the impact she's having on her child and in the wider society. Now, what is it for a fun time for you?
A fun time for me is
Mm-hmm.
just being with my loved ones.
Doing
Just
what?
just chilling, honestly. Just being on the sofa, watching nothing on TV, talking about the nothing on TV. Yeah, just being in a room filled with everyone that I love. That's a good time for me.
So you love to just relax and just have fun.
Mm.
Friends, how do they play a part? What impact do they have on you?
So my friend circle now, I feel I have my circle for life. I mean, it took a while to get there, but yeah, I have what I call my forever friends, just because they've been around forever and I don't see them going anywhere, you know? And yeah, the impact they have, they just allow me to be me and they genuinely love me for me.
Now, I love to ask these questions, and I'm going to see from your point of view, was there a celebrity that you admired growing up and had on your wall and probably sing their songs or wish, oh, I could marry them? Was there a sort of celebrity in your lifetime?
No, there was never anybody. I never had any posters on my wall. I never bought any CDs. I never I never did any of that. I mean, I genuinely really enjoyed like Beyonce's music and stuff like that, but I never, yeah, my parents always used to tell me you don't have idols. They're all humans, they're just doing a job. So that was never something that never had
So
that.
you don't have any idols now?
No.
Now, what do you look up to? Look for inspiration from?
Not celebrities, no.
Who are those people though? Who do you
Who are
look
those
for as
people?
inspiration and, not necessarily idols as worshiping, but somebody who you aspire to be like or, inspire you?
So my friends and family. So within each friend and family member, I see little things that I admire and that I think, okay, I enjoy like this that somebody does the way that they do it. Maybe I could do it in my life kind of thing. Yeah, so all my friends and family, that's why they're all there.
So what's the inspiration? What is the aim? Is it something you're aspiring to do that you haven't reached as yet?
No, not necessarily. Just maybe the way that they do certain things, I might admire. Like, okay, this one's extra patient doing certain activities, or, this one's really creative. I really like how they've set up this, kind of things like that. Just normal stuff.
So, so even though you have gone through the mill and you're now an adult and having your own family you're raising, you're still impacted by people around you. You would say,
Yeah, definitely still impacted, but never negatively.
Uh, okay. Don't tell me that you haven't had a negative experience that have changed your course at this one point. No.
Yes, as an adulthood, yeah, but now that I am who I am, I feel like you allow negativity to affect you. You choose to or you choose not to. So like I feel like I could confidently say like I choose not to.
How do you do that? Because there are lots of people out there who will be, going through a rough time, having negative experience after negative experience, whether it's in the workplace, the home, the family. How do you cope, and what are the advice you would give to someone, practical advice of what they can do?
So for me, my walk with the Most High has definitely made me firm because I know like this is who he made me to be. And I know he's happy with his daughter in how she is. So that's the main thing for me. So I think reading your Bible is very important, guys. Okay, getting to know the Most High because He will let you know who you are and who you're supposed to be, and you will feel confident in that. That's the first thing that I would say. The second thing I would say is spend time with yourself. So I went through a period of just dating myself to be confident being on my own. Like, so you're not codependent, like you're your own best friend, I think. So I would go to the movies by myself, I go to dinner by myself, and just, yeah, spend time with yourself so you can really know who you are. And having you as your own best friend, you won't take nonsense from anybody because you know who you are, you know your worth.
That's interesting. Dating yourself. So anybody out there who is listening and thinking, how do I date myself? How do they do that? Just go to the movies, put on the best dress and go for dinner by yourself. Anything else?
Anything that you enjoy doing. Don't wait for a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend to go with. Go do it. Go for it. I'm in the cinema laughing and I'm like, that's so funny. I'm laughing by myself. Like, yeah, because I like that.
That's interesting. So that's a tip you can have there. Date yourself, because that will help you to find yourself and be comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
If you should say, almost coming to an end, if you should say, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
In 3 words.
Yeah.
I would say I am passionate, friendly, and I am confident.
Passionate, friendly, and confident.
Mm.
That's fine. That's definitely you, for sure. I was well, more than 2 words. I was always happy. That's what I would say for you.
Yeah.
Now, have you read anything that is kind of your mantra that you have kept close to you and you always remember that saying, or something that you hold dear to?
No, I don't think there's a mantra that I say, like, that I repeat or anything like that. Um, I think it's just probably I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I think that's my thing. If I have a mantra, that's what it is.
So obviously religion play a big part in your life then.
Yes. I wouldn't even say religion because people don't like these words and it has all these things attached to these words.
Yep.
But yeah, just my belief
Belief in the
the
Most
Most
High.
High, yes, and his existence and his plan. Yeah, it plays a big part.
What would it be that you would want people to remember you for?
Just for my love, the love that I give. I feel like everyone that knows me knows that I'm genuine in everything that I do. So I think that's what they'll remember me for.
Okay, almost, and I'm going to give you some words now, and you don't have time to think. I'm just going to say the word, and you tell me what comes to mind.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind. Okay. Or,
Uh-huh.
in fact, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to ask you tell me what's the last thing that you do. For example, let's go. Last movie you watched.
The last movie I watched, I don't know. Oh, James Bond movie.
Last meal you had out.
Oh, when was the last time I went out? I don't remember when was the last time I went out. I haven't been out in a while.
Okay. Last music you listened to.
Tiwa Savage. And Brandy. What was the song called? Somebody's Son.
Last place you visited on a holiday.
Orlando. No, that's a lie. Paris. It was Paris I went to last.
Okay. Last person you texted.
Caprice.
The last time you cried. No, don't tell me that.
I haven't cried in a long time, you know, Uncle Craig.
I know you. I can't see you crying. You're too happy to cry.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I cried.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So to close off, I almost call you Caprice last. Caprice was the last person she takes. Yeah, so but that's okay, Caprice. Denise, the one thing you would say to children who are looking onto others or who might be going through struggles, what is the one thing you want to say to a child? And for adults out there who think they're not making a difference to children's life, what would you say to them?
So I'll start with the adults. I would say that just keep doing what you're doing because you'll never know until that one day they do something and you're like, oh my gosh, you were listening, you get it. Like, so I just say keep going. If you are thinking about this child and making steps for them for positivity, just don't stop. If you stop, you fail. So just keep going. For the children, I would say, oh, what would I say to the children? I would say just try to be you. I would say it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel angry and all your emotions, but just be careful how you express them. That's what I would say. And just try to be you at all times and find people that like you. Find people that aren't questioning how you behave or why you think the way that you do. Find people that like all that stuff about you.
Well, you have heard it from Denise, the one who is always laughing, the educator, the mother, the friend, and you have heard her experience and how life have impacted her and how she has used that to become a better person and find herself. And do remember, the one advice she had given us, we need to date ourselves.
Yes.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So here you have it. Its impact, and join us next time where we look at how we have been impacted by those who we grew up with by adults, teachers. And remember, lives are influenced by our living, so live right. Until then, see you. Bye.